Hi, my name is Leah and I love all things bridal and formal wear. So this afternoon I'm doing this YouTube live. It's the first YouTube live I've done, so I'm a little bit nervous and I'll probably twist my words around and get all mixed up, but anyway, we're having a bit of an experiment to see how I go. So I've got these two beautiful gowns here next to me. They're both ivory lace gowns, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about lace, a little bit about the two styles, and also what goes into wedding gowns and why there can be such a big price difference between one gown and another. Anyway, so the first one I've got here next to me, this is a lovely but quite simple gown. It's from the Moya Bridesmaids collection by International Couture Collection. Okay, so I did say bridesmaids range. It is around the $300 mark, so it's a really, really affordable wedding gown. So it would be perfect for a beach wedding or a backyard wedding or something where you wanted to look like the bride and feel like the bride, but you just wanted to be comfortable, didn't want to be lugging around a train. It's a very comfortable dress. Yes, so it's I'll just turn it around as well. You can see there at the back, it's got an invisible zipper at the back, which is a really neat finish. Now, one thing with gowns like this that don't have a train on them, okay, I've been sewing for as long as I can remember, so we can, if it can be altered, we can do it. One thing with a dress like this, if you love the style and you love the idea of being able to get around your reception without a long train, one thing I suggest is you could either go a cathedral veil, so your really long veil that goes out along the floor, and then you've got that for your ceremony and your photos, and it gives sort of an illusion of having a train, but then when you get to the reception, you can take it off and you've got the convenience of a simple dress without the long train dragging around behind you, the weight of it, people treading on it, all the inconvenience of a train. The other thing you could do is where you get your wedding gown, you can get the company there to purchase extra lace that matches your gown and actually have a detachable train made. And that's along the same sort of lines. You've got the really wedding look for your ceremony and your photos. You've got this beautiful train that matches your dress, and a lot of people with this sort of dress, it would just hook on at the waistband. A lot of people wouldn't even know that it was a detachable train. And then when you get to the reception, once again, you just take it off. Now, as I said, this one comes from a bridesmaids range. So it does also come in, I think, 6 or 8 different colours. I can't remember exactly. Works well for bridesmaids, school formals. This would even make a really elegant mother of the bride, okay? For the mother of the bride, again, we could order extra lace and make a matching bolero or put some sort of wider strap on it to give it that little bit more cover if the mother of the bride or groom felt that it was too bare. Yes, so the thing I love about lace with both these gowns is it's just so timeless and elegant, which is probably why it's popular at the moment. People they love the gown because it's modern and it's on trend, but at the same time, it's so classic that in 50 years' time, they'll look at their wedding photos and just go, wow, that dress would still work today. In today's environment, it would still be fashionable. The second gown here is from the Only You label, which comes out of the House of Jean Fox. So it comes from the Jean Fox brand. Now, I think the Jean Fox brand I think it began back in 1932. I'd have to check. But I'm pretty sure it was 1932 and was started by an Australian lady called Jean Fox. Now, this gown, okay, it's a different lace, a little bit more fabric in that it does, they're both quite slimline, but this one does kick out more at the bottom and does have the train on it. So it does use a lot more fabric. Where this simple gown was around the $300 mark, this one is up closer to the $2,000. So it's just going to be a dearer lace. Elegant gown. It's got a scalloped lace around the edge of it and also around the top as well. And then you've got this bow feature here on the Empire line as well. Now I'll just turn this one around if I can. Spin her around so you can see the train properly. Just fluff it out a bit. Okay, so you can see here on the back of this one, we've got the corset back, which is sitting there looking quite neat. You've got the train, little bit of beading, pretty much just delicately placed all over the dress. I won't go into the lace up back here now, but on my Lasting Impressions YouTube channel, I do have a video explaining how to get a really neat look, how to do your corset back wedding gowns so that you get a really neat finish. So if you've got a corset back, it's worth having a look. It's worth tagging your bridesmaids. Send it to them on Facebook or whatever social media you use. Send them the clip of me explaining how to lace up a corset back wedding gown, because I work through it quite methodically. People have found that it's quite useful. The other thing I just want to touch on with these dresses is what goes into, there's quite a difference in price. What makes up the difference in the price of a wedding gown? Now, okay, with what you can see on the outside of a dress, the embellishment, this one has beading, the other one has no beading. The cost of the lace on the materials, a dearer lace, probably a dearer lining also contribute to the difference in cost. The amount of fabric. This dress has a lot more fabric in it than the simple little bridesmaid style. Now down to the stuff that you can't necessarily see. Dearer gowns, there's a lot more time goes into, I guess you'd say, the product development. Getting the pattern cut right, and then the construction of it. Now inside this dress, you've got, I think, 2 rows of boning coming down over the bust. There may be some, oh yes, and there's some in the side seam. Okay, with this other dress, I'll just spin it back around again. With the dearer gown here, there's going to be a lot more interfacing, just an extra layer or 2 of fabric inside that kind of helps to give it a smooth finish, and also boning. Okay, the boning in this, now you can't see it, and that'd mean taking it off the mannequin, but this dress has about 10 rows of boning from one side seam to the other, so it's got a lot more boning in it. It's basically, your dearer dresses are like, it's like you probably don't necessarily need to go out and buy a bra. They've got a built-in corset. The construction inside the dresses is like the corset is built into them. So there's just a couple of things that go into the difference in the price of a dress. Now, $300 is quite a good price for a wedding gown. $2,000, although much higher. In Australia, there are a lot of wedding gowns, again, that are much, much higher than that. Now, one thing would be where it's made. In Australia, if you buy an Australian-made wedding gown, that is going to make it much higher. It's great that we are still making them, and I would love to have a shop full of Australian-made wedding gowns. The likes of this gown here is probably going to be at least double the price. Minimum of double the price to be Australian made, because the time that it takes, it just, in one thing, the beading on it. Okay, now I don't know how much beading you can actually see on the camera. It's not heavily beaded, but there's like a cluster of beads there, a cluster of beads there, a couple of beads there, a couple more there. So you can see there's sort of beads, clusters of beads, 8 centimetres, 6 or 8 centimetres apart. The time that it would take to do all that beading It's not difficult, but it's time consuming. So it's that sort of thing that is going to contribute to the cost of dresses, particularly if they are made in Australia. Anyway, if you've got any questions, just put them in the comments below and I will endeavour to get back to you. And I mean, I'm sure there's so much more I could say about these dresses, but I just thought I'd make a start and see how we went. And if there's anything that you would like me to do a YouTube clip on, put that in the comments as well, to do with weddings and formal wear. And I'll try and do a YouTube clip to answer your questions. If you like what I do, subscribe to our channel. Have a great afternoon.